When we going?
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, you ready?
We're ready.
Check, check. Audio good?
Great.
All right, audio's good. This week we're going to be getting real with Coleton Jennings. You know, you started out at a young age getting into the bass fishing world. You actually, you know, had a little high school career of tournament fishing, and then you kind of jumped forward to Jenko Fishing and starting your own tackle company at what, 16, 17 years old. And man, that's an accomplishment in itself for a young guy. One, just to be out competing competitively in high school bass fishing, but then also to start building tackle and baits and all that at that age. Man, what a neat start. So tell me a little bit about your high school fishing days to start off.
Yeah, I mean, so I started fishing for Callaway County High School. I was, I guess, a sophomore, fished 3 years there. That's where I kind of got started cutting my teeth on Kentucky Lake. We'd always had a boat, fished for brim and bass, just never really had a purpose for fishing. Never tournament fished, never anything like that. We just went fishing to catch whatever bites. So at that point, I tried to step it up a level, more focused on bass fishing alone, and started my high school career and ended up making it through those 3 years. Had a great time. Actually, my boat captain for those 3 years was Josh Lovett. He was a guy that helped me get started with Jenko Fishing, became a great employee of mine. He now guides on Kentucky Lake. Went from that to, of course, high school world finals, and right here at Pickwick Lake, where we're at right now in the parking lot, and started cutting my teeth learning how to ledge fish here. It's an unbelievable lake, and got very, very fortunate to win a high school world championship here. Got 5th or 6th the year before, so 2 years in a row, top 10 finish in the world finals. FLW, honestly, you know, I got to say a big thank you to us. To them, they were a local company. To me, they're just right down the road in Benton, Kentucky. After we won that world championship, which is a FLW TBF combined event, we went to, it would be ICAST, in just a few short weeks after. They really helped me get my company off the ground, giving me a lot of promotion, a lot of media. They were throwing us in the guys that won the cup, doing presentations, doing anything, you know, you can imagine that really helped me out. I have a huge thank you to say to them for the boost that we got right there at the beginning, for sure.
So, you know, I guess your dad and your grandpa family fish, or?
Yep. So my dad is a crappie fisherman, brim fisherman. My granddad's the same way. My granddad actually used to, when I was in high school, would come and pick me up almost every day from school and drive me to the lake and let me go fishing. Of course, I wasn't old enough to have a driver's license, but I had a boat, and he would come and pick me up every day and take me to the lake. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never got the opportunities that I got. I mean, it was, you know, something that no one else would have ever done for me but him. You know, it was a great thing.
So you had a love for the outdoors and the fishing side of it, but you just never had a purpose for it. High school came along.
Yep.
You kind of took off into the high school fishing part of it. Tournaments seemed to went well for you.
Yep.
You kind of forward that. And at that same time, where and how did you go from a kid in high school fishing to saying, wait a minute, Jenko Fishing, I'm going to build tackle and like distribute it, sell it? I mean, tell me how that evolved.
You know, of course, as a young kid, you always have these huge dreams to, you know, as a tournament fisherman, you want to fish a classic, or you want to be a tour angler of some kind. And I felt like me and my dad, when we sat down, that I needed a business at home to come home to. And it actually turned into, I actually enjoy it more than I do going and traveling and being gone all the time, and actually tournament fishing. It's something that has blessed me to be able to actually go fishing and have fun and do opportunities like this. Go and shoot with you, or do this or do that, where before I would have had to be a set schedule and be gone this amount of weeks and on somebody else's time. And you know, as everybody knows, that professional tournament fishing is kind of like living your life in the casino. It's pretty much gambling. You can't control all the variables, and making tackle and being as picky as I am and as, you know, thoughtful, I feel like focusing on bait design and playing with stuff and constantly tinkering, it was a better fit for me, honestly.
So did you tinker with tackle at a young age?
Yeah, so I was painting and tying hair jigs and doing that stuff when I was in high school. So that's kind of where I got my start, was that. I still paint baits today, still tie hair jigs, still tie treble hooks, do stuff, modify baits constantly at all times, because that's just my passion, is playing with baits every day. I mean, even, we talk about stuff that I do, like I talk constantly and trying to make things better,
Sure, I saw that in the boat with you. We actually filmed the last couple days down here on Pick with Coleton. I actually got to fish the area that you won the high school championship, world championship from. And every bait we picked up, different baits from different companies, you literally analyzed and looked at them. And I mean, I think into my fishing a lot and always trying to pay attention to the detail, but you definitely break a bait down and take it to the next level. I mean, you get into talking about throwing big baits like the crankbait and the weight transfer. You get talking about even taking some of your own products that you build and tweaking them even further once you've tweaked them to a point. So
constantly stay on top of the game. As fishing has become more and more popular, I know there was somewhere around, I think it was 11 million more fishing licenses sold last year in the United States, is the number that's been thrown around. Our lakes are getting more and more pressure as time goes on, and it makes the bite that much tougher. So I feel like I have to work that much harder to make an advantage for myself, and then in return produce that and give the advantage to the anglers out there that buy our products.
And I think you talk about the everyday angler.
Yeah.
Not only do you're because you're not totally dug into the tournament side.
Yes.
Now, granted, you got promotions in that area and guys out there that you sponsor and TV that you sponsor and them things in the marketing side. But your gear, a lot of your stuff to the everyday angler,
just to go fishing, like we've just shot the show the last 2 days and we just went fishing.
Sure, we caught white bass.
Whatever we caught,
everything else.
That's what I enjoy. I mean, it's even right down to on our crankbaits, I rubber band all our hooks together. People call all the time, man, why do you do that? It's just in the way, I have to cut them off. How many people in this country tie a Palomar knot whenever they're bass fishing? Tons and tons and tons. What do you have to do? You have to run that bait back through the loop in your line, and those hooks are tied up. If you don't cut it up before, those hooks are tied up so it's not in the way and getting tangled. Just simple stuff like that even is critiques that I love to make to baits. Just as far as packaging goes, a lot of people don't think that. They complain, oh, we'll have to cut the trail or cut that off. Well, to me, it takes way less time to snip a tag, snip that, than it does to wad all your line up whenever you're trying to tie a simple Palomar knot.
So I think what you offer by critiquing not only bass baits, but also the crappie side. You all have the big T line, which is on your hat right there. You have your bass fishing line. You cater to those two areas. But I think all those details that you put into your baits pass on to that angler.
Yep.
To the everyday angler that's out there just picking up your tackle off the shelf. I shared this, and we'll interrupt you for a second, but I shared this in the boat at one point with you, or maybe it was at dinner the other night, about your jig heads.
Yep.
I noticed all your crappie jig heads don't have paint in the eye. I said, and all I did was tell you, hey, I noticed they didn't have paint in the eye. I didn't know that you were concerned about it, but you really were. I mean, you explained to me, well, that's something that aggravates me, and it is truly something that aggravates me. Every time I get one, I've got a big old hook, and I'm always trying to bust the paint out, and I don't have to do that. And that passes on to that everyday angler out there.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of funny. The way I look at the crappie market is, honestly, a lot of those guys are older gentlemen, and they can't see.
Ladies.
They can't see as well. The older gentlemen can't see as well, and I want them to be able to thread their line through there. And they're the grouchy ones too about the line being the paint being in there.
Are you talking about me having to wear my readers? Don't be talking about that.
They get grouchy with you whenever you got to clean jig heads out and stuff like that, and it just makes it simple. I mean, it honestly does. And like I said, it really applies to that market, because those guys are going to call you upset if they have to clean out eyes, and I don't ever want to have that call. That's just a simple thing, and I think that makes those small critical details that most people miss is the things that I thrive for the most, I guess, just like the wrapping of the hooks or the cleaning of the jig eyes, just simple little things that I feel like helps me that most people just overlook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that'll keep kind of taking you and Jenko and setting you apart from everybody just a little bit, and maybe not necessarily in meaning the pedestal of setting you apart, but your company and its personality and what it's about is, I think what's gonna, those details is gonna set apart. I have the opportunity to promote the Jenko brand and be a part of, as I tell you guys, the family. I like to say it that way. I like anybody that's involved in the show or with us as well. I always say it's our family of folks, because I truly take pride in, talking about somebody's product or sharing a little bit about it, because I'm not a big product pusher, which
Sure.
I've told you that prior, long prior to us working together. Because I like to grab something and use it, and I think that your details and your attention to detail really gives me some pride in talking about your products, because I realize that you, Tony, Will, your team of folks that you have down there, you guys are really always digging.
Yep. And that's just, me and you've talked the last few days that constantly we're thriving to make ourselves better in what we do, or trying to find a way to get a satisfaction out of it. And in baits, that's me critiquing things and figuring out how to make things better, adjust this, adjust that. I mean, just so down to the CD25. We've threw it a lot in the last couple days. One of my favorite baits that's ever been made on this planet, and one of my favorite techniques. I actually have had injuries to both of my shoulders, and I cannot wind a plug that really, really pulls hard against you. I can't do it. My shoulders will be on fire. I have to have something that you can just smooth the line and no problem. And I adjusted line ties and bill size and everything to get that bait as deep as you can possibly get it, but without it digging as hard on the line. Still digs hard in the ground. Of course, we felt that the last few days. I mean, it's pounding in the ground, but it's not giving you that force.
You're not having to.
And it still gets down quick. There's
Sure.
just some really fine-tuning details and some small stuff like that is something for me personally, that it was an injury that caused me to come up with this idea, because I was getting my shoulders, by the end of the day, I couldn't make it 2 days in a row.
Gotcha. And then, so to jump from the tackle side,
Yep.
because, Jenko, you got it on. It is who you are. I mean, even the logo itself is Coleton's head right there. This is his hair right there, and his face. The logo throws that out there. But you're newly married. How long ago was that?
May 30th of last year. So we're coming up on our anniversary here pretty quick.
1 year of that. That's awesome. And so you've come out of high school, gotten married, the company's doing well. Next set of goals. Where are you going? Where do you think the company's going?
Just constantly just keep our feet on the ground and nose on the ground, looking for new ideas, new things, ways to expand our brand. And I mean, just constantly keep up with what's going on in the market. That's one thing I feel like, to be honest with you, the tackle industry is full of old guys. I mean, they're not relevant at this point with what's going on with the major changes in the high school and the college fishing, in my opinion. Staying on top of that game. I mean, constantly, what's hot, what's new, what do we need to change, what do we need to adapt? As far as that type of thing, I get a lot of funny looks when I walk into a tackle store and they're like, "Oh, you're the owner of Jenko," and I'm like, "Well, yeah," but they kind of look down at me being younger, but I've gotten used to that, I guess. But to me, there's a lot of old time stuff that's still in the fishing industry, and we need a new generation coming to back that up, to bring in a new world of fishing that's coming along with the advancements and technology, the new forward-facing sonar, the live imaging type things. The fishing is constantly adapting at this point.
And you guys are adapting with it. I see it with the products, the long handle nets, different tackle boxes, all the different things that you're always coming out with. And I know there's some new things in the works coming forward that sometimes I'm privy to hear talking about, so we can't talk about that with the camera. Yeah. But anything that you personally just want to share about, fishing, what it's done for your life, your family, the outdoors itself.
I mean, to me, just the fishing brand, that we're working to create, and it's been nothing but a blessing. I've been super lucky to be able to be a part of it and have my guys running like here. We're here right now, and they're running the business back home. It's nothing but a blessing to be able to go fish and have fun. But at the same time, still every day while I'm fishing, it just helps me keep my motor running on what needs to happen, what needs to do this. So I mean, to me, it keeps my mind fresher to be able to come and do these things and learn and constantly be learning new things and new techniques. Maybe, you know, hopefully in the near future we can start coming out with some more stuff and just constantly keep building
Oh,
that
you got
brand.
new stuff on the way. I know that. I've done heard it. Well, Coleton, it's been a pleasure the last couple days to get out on the water with you and just get to know you as a person. You know, we've always kind of had it talked, you know, on the business side, but getting on the water, standing in the boat with somebody, you really get to know them. You're an inspiration for the youth coming up. You know, 22 years old, your own tackle company, you make it happen, you work, and I mean, you work hard at it, and it's been my pleasure, one, to get in the boat and get to know you and be able to share a little bit about you with all these folks out there. So, my friend, I appreciate you. Enjoyed getting the interview, enjoyed shooting the show with you, and
It's been awesome.
this is getting real right here.
It's getting real.
That one's almost straight through.